Hi everybody, this is Ellie. Thanks so much for joining me today for September's setup in my A5 size bullet journal. I'm in my A5 size Leuchtturm notebook, which is in my Sojourner Gedi Folio, and you can see I've gone ahead and stuck down some post-it notes to mark off the spreads that I'm going to make this month. If you're familiar with my previous monthly spreads, none of this will be anything new. I'm just walking through how I make the spreads. I have learned that the less I have to flip between pages or inserts, the more functional and useful a spread is for me. So with that in mind, I created a monthly format that allows me to have this flap of paper in the middle, and it all acts as one big spread, which I love because it lets me feel like I can see everything at a glance and I don't forget about anything that way. Here I'm just showing you how I go ahead and mark out my calendar layout with pencil before I go in with the ruler and the light gray Staedtler Triplus Fineliner. The boxes in my calendar are 5 by 5 and I have Saturday and Sunday, so I have the weekend on that little flap. And I've been doing this format since April, since I've been in this notebook, and it's been working really well in terms of layout and in terms of size. Most of the times when I'm making spreads in my bullet journal, I actually don't use a ruler, but I always have for the calendars, so I think it just makes it feel slightly more clean to me. Plus, with these fine liners, I don't find that I drag the ink accidentally with the rulers, which was a problem for me. The Fineliner is also really consistent. When I tried to do this using ballpoint pen or gel pen, the line would get blobby, or sometimes the ballpoint pen just would skip or wouldn't write cleanly. So this is working out, and I love the flexible ruler, especially now that I'm getting towards the end of the notebook, because I can kind of curve it in towards the binding where the notebook is thicker. I do try to triple check the calendar layout before I start inking it in, because I have made many mistakes that have needed correction tape, which is fine. And I'll be honest, of course, mistakes still happen no matter how careful I am. I don't make one on this actual calendar layout, but I do make a mistake later in this video that you'll see. The other thing I love about this Staedtler Fineliner is the color. It's a nice light gray, almost the color of lead in just a regular mechanical pencil. So it's definitely dark enough to see, but it's light enough to be really unobtrusive when I'm looking at the page, and that's what I prefer. In general, when I'm making a layout, I prefer the writing to stand out and any of the kind of formatting to be in the background. So this gray finds that balance perfectly for me. Whenever I'm making a new monthly spread, I do a lot of flipping back and forth to the previous spread to remind myself of the format and the specifics. I'll edit some of that out here, but trust me, I do it pretty much every time I move on to a different component. Here I'm using the Zig Clean Color Dot in the Platinum to do the spaces where I'm going to write the dates. I've tried gel pen, ballpoint, and Fineliner when I'm making these spreads, and my favorite is by far the Fineliner. It gives me that nice dark but crisp line, and it also doesn't smudge when I go over it with highlighter or a Tombow. I generally use the Le Pen Technical Drawing Pen in the 1.0 for titles and the 0.05 for numbers. I will do my best to link everything below. I actually end up pulling out a bunch of pens in this setup just because I was at my desk and they were at hand, but the Le Pens are very consistent for me. I like the 0.5 for the numbers because it is a pretty small space, so when it's getting into double digits, it just feels cleaner for me. After I finish numbering the calendar, I go ahead and write the dates in a horizontal line along the bottom, and that will be my daily habit tracker. I haven't completed my Power Sheets prep for September yet, but once I do, I will plug those habits into this monthly spread. Just erasing my pencil marks as I go. I've picked up my Staedtler again to draw a line above and below the dates in my habit tracker. I like to make it feel like a title, but a very minimal title. I also like to draw a line underneath the last habit, but I could have anywhere between 1 and 4 habits this month, so I will wait and see what those actually are before I draw the line. I've chosen my color for this month, and this is another highlighter by Iconic. The color is mustard yellow, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. To me, it evokes the heat of the waning summer and the colors of fall, so I thought that was perfect for September. I forgot to prep for the mini calendar that I like to make so that I can mark off the days and see where we are in the month. Whenever I'm numbering a calendar, I like to write down all of the Mondays first, and that way I catch myself quickly if I make a mistake. I grabbed the Pigma Micron 005 for this. I did have the Le Pen 005, but my Micron is a little bit finer, and that's because I've worn down the nib more because I'm so heavy-handed, so it's at this kind of weird angle. Either way, either pen would have been fine, but that is why I decided to do that. I'm getting ready to draw the line that I love to use to separate my signifiers from the tasks themselves. This is where I will write my monthly tasks. Again, I'm not going to fill any of this out right now until my PowerSheets prep is done. This is one of those rare times I didn't flip back to August before doing my titles, and I forgot that I usually skip that top line. I'm not sure why I do. I don't think it serves a purpose. I think it just maybe made it feel slightly more centered to my eye. Either way, that didn't happen this month. Here I am realizing it and flipping all the way back to previous months to see if I have always skipped that line. Yes, I have, and this is why I am doing a lot of checking because I forget the small things. That's okay though, it serves the exact same function. The highlighter is already laid down and we keep going. I've grabbed the Le Pen in the 005 again to write the numbers for my Calendex. I do have a preference between Le Pen and Micron, and for me, I prefer the Le Pen technical drawing pens. I find that the barrel feels a little bit better in my hand, and I also haven't had as much wear on the tips as I have with my Microns, so they do feel more durable to me. Whether or not that is actually the case, I don't know. I haven't performed any sort of direct comparison or rigorous testing, but that is my preference. And here I've just grabbed the Staedtler to do the dates. I like to know which day of the week it is in this vertical format, but I don't like the dates to be in black pen because then it feels really cluttered to my eye. I'd also like to emphasize that this whole spread could be done with one pen. I like to switch it up because I have collected a number of different pens and fineliners, and since I have them, I like to play around and make it to my specifications, but none of that is necessary. You could do one pen and one highlighter if you wanted. You don't even need the marker, and have basically this exact same setup. So don't feel like you need to get all of the things. This is definitely a do as I say, not as I do tip. But it's good to start out with what you already have, and then you can add in as you realize maybe anything that you're missing or anything that you'd love to try. I've just gone in with my favorite Tombow, the N89, and highlighted the weekends. Again, I like that separation, especially in the vertical format. I actually have two favorite gray Tombows, the N79 and the N89. They are both warm grays. One is just much lighter than the other. This is the lighter one. Now I'm going to set up my social media tracker. So the way that I like to do this is to draw a line, splitting it into two columns. On the right-hand column, I do draw a line separating Sunday and Monday of every week. And the right-hand column is where I will write the YouTube videos that I hope to post each week. The left-hand column I just leave open, and if I have any ideas of Instagram posts I'd like to make, I'll just jot those down and flip to it if I need them throughout the month. Usually I have an idea and I post it. I don't really content plan that far ahead of time for Instagram, but sometimes I have an idea and I know I'm not going to get to it that day, so I can just plug it in right there. I also grabbed my Uni Jetstream in the 0.5 to draw a mini Instagram and YouTube icon. I like the fineness of that tip and how it's pointed instead of a needle tip, so that's why I grabbed that pen. Realized here that I forgot to do my days of the week, so I went in and did that. I also forgot to highlight the habits in my habit tracker, and for some reason I did it in the light gray. Realized it didn't look correct and double checked. Yep, usually I do that in my color of the month, so I went over it with the mustard yellow. I debated whether or not I wanted to edit this part out. Usually when I'm doing these kinds of setups, I will pull a few things that I think I might like to try or that could work, and then I will play around. I often edit things out just for time's sake, and I figure maybe you don't want to see me with my trial and error process, but this video I thought I could leave it in, and feel free to let me know in the comments if it's something that you like or not. Basically, you're going to see me playing around, trying to choose the washi tape that I like, seeing how I want to fill the empty space. Do I want to use a sticker? Do I want to leave it blank? And yeah, let me know what you think. So I already know I'm going to use my monthly sticker from Virgo and Paper because I love those stickers. And the first washi tape I'm trying here is by Note and Wish. They're my favorite washi tape shop. I love their style. And I thought this was a beautiful and kind of romantic yellow tape that went really well with the highlighter. I'm ripping it lengthwise down the middle to make it a little thinner, and I like that torn edge look. The other washi tape I've chosen that I know I want to use for sure is also by Note and Wish. I wasn't sure how fall themed I wanted to go in this spread, because while fall technically starts here in September for us, it's still usually very, very hot. So I thought this was a nice balance because it does have the leaves, but it also has a transparent background, so it's not too overwhelming. When I tried to put the yellow washi tape down with it, I just didn't love how it worked. So I've gone ahead and grabbed two more washis, also from Note and Wish, and these two are some of my favorites. They're so versatile. So I just tried both to see which brown grid I preferred, and I chose this darker one with the bigger squared grid. And I'm tearing it with an angled palette knife, which is a tip I got from Cindy Gunter-Baldo, and it works really well. Welcome to my planner brain, guys, because now I'm thinking that washi tape, while beautiful, is just a little too dark. When I look at the page, that is what draws my eye, and I don't want that to draw my eye. I'd prefer it to be more subtle. So I do switch and go to this lighter grid to pair at the top with this washi tape. I like that much better. Now the yellow is brighter again to me, and you know, here I am being finicky and trying to line it up, but washi tape is super forgiving, luckily. I've just peeled off the September sticker. It's transparent and I love that. She has drawn leaves in the letters there, so it goes really, really well with the washi I've put down. And this is a sticker from a Happy Planner book. That top corner where Monday and Tuesday are felt really empty to me. So I wanted, again, to try and echo the color palette and just put a little something that wasn't overwhelming, but that felt like it fit. That's basically my whole aesthetic or approach, is finding things that fit. That fit in my eye, which obviously is totally subjective. The good news is I decided I could reuse that washi I had torn on the bottom of this spread. I find that it's much more unobtrusive at the bottom, and I just tore some of the leaf washi to layer on top of that, and I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. I was thinking it needed just a little bit of something there to balance out the flower, preferably something in that same shade of yellow or that kind of mustardy color. So I'm taking a look through this seasonal happy planner book and I'm trying to find something that will work. I decided to use one of these tiny flags. It's the right color. It is very subtle and it just felt like it completed it for me. I check in, yep, that's where my dailies will start, and now we move into the title page. I have pre-cut this vellum from Mrs. Brimble's and I love the glasses. It reminds me of reading, which reminds me of school, so a very subtle back to school reference. You can see I am very happy to have found another place for this yellow Note and Wish washi tape. I'm just trying to line up the leaves so that it's relatively straight, and I cut the edges. I do kind of a poor job here, but so be it. And I use Dakshina's trick of using the ruler, folding it over, and getting it as close to the binding as possible, just making sure I wasn't putting it in upside down there. This works pretty well for me. The washi tape is very forgiving, and even though it's not always straight, it works just fine. I've decided I want to stamp again, so I was just showing you that I've already gone ahead and put dots in the rough area I would like each letter to go. I'm using the alphabet stamps from Amazon and the Versa Magic chalk ink. That's the same ink that I use in the Hobonichi cousin, and it works just fine without bleeding through on this Leuchtturm paper as well. I also have a pack of Dove baby wipes, so I will use that to clean the stamps after I stamp the paper. If I don't clean it, it's because I still need to reuse that letter. August was the first time that I had used stamps, and I really love how it turned out. I've seen Caitlin. She's Caitlin Gray here on YouTube and Instagram. I believe I will link her below. I've seen her stamp in her bullet journal a lot, and it's always beautiful. So I was really excited to give it a try myself. Now, I am not an expert stamper in any way, guys, but this is a new one even for me. I've never just stamped backwards before, and I keep going. I think, I don't think it'll bother me that much. I'll just leave it. Spoiler, it did bother me. I didn't just leave it. Okay, we're finishing up without incident, and I'm putting down my decoration. I've chosen this sticker from the Happy Planner Homebody sticker book, and it says, okay, let's do this. The school year is starting. I have no idea still what that will look like for me, but I'm trying my best to be ready. And I also grabbed a leaf sticker in that same mustard yellow to tie it all together. I'm using that piece of paper I cut off as a little bit of a blotting paper and taking a look at the title page all together. While that dries, I'm just grabbing my future log from the front pocket. I have it in the Hobonichi Weeks supplement notebook, and it's very, very simple. I'm just going to go ahead and plug in what I have in the calendar, so a holiday, a birthday, and a couple of appointments. Typically, I color code my appointments and write them in red, but on the small chance that I will be teaching at the start of September, that means I will need to reschedule them. So I just go ahead and write them in pencil for now, and that way it will be easy enough to switch if I need to. That's as complete as my calendar will get until I'm done my power sheets. So as a reminder, I'll have my weekly icons, my monthly tasks, and my daily habits. I flip back to the title page, and that backwards E is really throwing me off. It makes the whole thing look wrong and not funny like I thought. Leuchtturm notebooks come with these stickers that are actually labels, and I have found that they are a great way to cover up big mistakes. Someone shared that either on Instagram or Facebook ages ago, I don't remember who, but I just thought it was genius. So I like to cut the label to size, and it works so well. Here I am realizing that maybe I should stamp on the label that is not stuck to the paper first in case I make any sort of other mistake, and then stick it on. So that E turned out good, and I'm just going to cut it even smaller so that it fits as cleanly as possible. And there you go. I just line it up as best I can, and it looks really, really good. Obviously better on camera, but even in person, because it's the same paper color, it just blends seamlessly. The cream correction tape I have is great too, but obviously it has a different finish, and I have no idea how ink would take to it, so this was perfect. And there we have September's monthly setup. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm not going to be adding any doodle or lettering challenges this month. I realize that I need a break from that, so I'm going to take it. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you like this video, please feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.